Hey, Facebook Nation, Traci here, and we've got another exciting opportunity to talk to some rock star real estate agents, and you can learn from the success that they've had. Today, we are interviewing Michelle and Clay Garner, and they are rock star luxury agents in the Colorado marketplace in Steamboat. So why don't you guys introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about your history?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Michelle Garner with EXP for a little bit over a year now. We've been in Steamboat. I've been in Steamboat for about 16 years, and Clay, is celebrating 30 years in Steamboat Springs. We joined EXP about a little bit more than a year ago, maybe a year and 3 months. We achieved icon agent status in our first year, and that was something. We made the change, which I think was the big, overcoming the fear of change, and we did that. We're super happy that we did it.
Tell everybody a little bit about where you were before EXP and kind of how that you joining EXP, how all that came to pass.
Oh wow, okay, so we were RE/MAX agents, and I will say this, we loved our RE/MAX family here. The RE/MAX locally is like a family, and so we were happy, and it's hard to make change when you're happy, but I met you actually on a business trip to Florida, and we had the pleasure of having dinner together, and we talked about EXP, and there were just a lot of like little dog whistles that made me think, hey, she's kind of talking to my needs. Like, I never really thought that there was a brokerage firm that would fit my needs. I mean, brokerage firms are usually franchises, right? They're not meant to really meet all my needs. They're meant to make, someone very wealthy. Usually the owner of a franchise.
Or Lager in RE/MAX's case.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I was listening, and I heard some of the things that ended up being these amazing attributes to the company. Stock ownership, the ability to reach icon status with performance that I know we've achieved many years running in the past. And the way that you reward your people, I think that it's tongue in cheek, but it's it's not a trophy. It's actually something that you can retire with. So I brought it home. I brought your ideas home and your thoughts, and I presented it to Clay. He got a little. I run off and do the real estate thing, and Clay will sit, and he has a different way of processing information. He wants to really vet out the facts. So why don't you tell her about?
Bill kind of presented it to me where the whole model. My mom was a 30-year agent. She ended up her last 15 years with Keller Williams, so I kind of understood the model pretty well and learned about the differences. And I was going to go down to the Dale area, meet a bunch of EXP agents, and learn more about it. She said, "Hey, you want to go?" And I said, "No, I'm good." She said, "Why?" It's like, "Well, I made up my mind."
And I thought he was going to say, "No, we're not doing this. There's no change happening." Right?
And I said, "Yeah, let's switch." She said, "Well, how do you know for sure?" Because normally I'm more fearful of change and this type of thing. I said, "Hey, I can do math. It's simple math that, with the cap, we're going to keep a lot more. We were well suited to do it. Having an assistant, having a team to work with, that it really helped."
So tell everybody a little bit about the Icon Agent Program that EXP offers.
Again, Clay had looked at our numbers and said, "Look, I'm reading about this icon package that they put together for people who have a higher level of performance, and we've done that at least the last 3 years. And if I went back in time, there is, there was more to it than even that. So, Icon Agent is, for those agents that perform at a certain level, and you basically reach, you only pay 20%. Of what you make to the company until you reach about, in our market, it's about 6 closings. It's about $3 million in sales. Then they cap you. The word cap was to me the real word, the carrot. That there's a point where I can pay enough where I'm done, and then you pay a fee for the next 20 closings. Of $250 per closing, which is unreal. That's you get to take home more of your money. And then after the 20th closing, you and this is in general, so it's about $5,000 that you pay after that, and so it's about 20 closings for us, and then you get the icon status. And there was initially an $8,000 stock award given to us, which, by the way, our stock split in February.
It was a bonus on the bonus.
The bonus on the bonus, right? And then, and obviously the stock has grown and the stock is doing very well. It's doing very well comparatively to, other companies. And so we're really happy with that. And then, I could also choose to do something that is cultural for the company, to get additional stock awards. And so we chose to become mentors. And so we are just going through the mentor program now. And so soon we'll be, a mentor of EXP. Which is interesting to me because I feel like, last year I celebrated 20 years in the industry.
Wow.
And I don't think any one of the firms I've ever worked with tapped me on the shoulder to say, would you consider, sharing your knowledge with our other agents? But I don't know what it is. When EXP said to me, hey, I think that you'd be well suited for this mentor program, I thought, I feel valued. I feel like a participant in this. Like I'm really, I'm growing.
Right.
And I know that sounds goofy, but because obviously there are business people who say, well, that's normal, right? But I think in real estate, we're all so on our own, doing our own business, and kind of it can turn into the grind. You don't realize that there's a really rewarding level. And we found that at EXP, and we're really happy with it. By the way, when we joined, I said we could always go back to RE/MAX, right? Again, that whole fear of change, not knowing. And it sounded too good to be true. And it was actually a little bit better because we had like 3 surprises, after joining that were very pleasant surprises. We didn't really consider the stock growth or it splitting. We didn't consider the fact that you guys actually refer business to agents. With all of our firms that we have belonged to in the past, in the first year with EXP, we received more referrals than we've ever received in
our company.
Oh my God.
I'm not kidding. It really was this pleasant perk where we had this influx of EXP agents, especially on the Front Range, reaching out to us and saying, hey, can you help my people? And it's just been terrific. One pleasant surprise after the other. So.
Yeah, it's nice having a managing broker who's not competing with us. Because, RE/MAX and in the office before that, they're all working brokers, and they seemingly skim all that as it came in.
Right.
They were able to get all the $1 million referrals before we ever knew anything about. So this is a big difference. And it's really hurt our business in Steamboat.
And in the broker's defense, because I owned a huge Century 21 franchise, the 4th largest in the United States. And the reason that we're called brokers is because we're always broker than our agents are, People have this romantic, I did too, this romantic notion about what it's like to own a brokerage. And it's really the absolute worst position in the company, as far as I'm concerned, for most brokers. Some brokers make it big, and ultimately I sold at the right time and I cashed out. But the challenge is that most brokers have to compete with their agents because there's just not enough money left as a result. So it's a challenging, the franchise model for a lot of people is a lose-lose. The people that own the franchises lose, and the people that are in the franchises lose. And I think people mostly start with noble intents, but I think that's the real magic of our EXP model. So as an EXP agent, you receive your entire cap back in the form of stock. So, and then above and beyond that, talk a little bit about the, of course, when you were with RE/MAX, you were paying a franchise fee, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So instead of paying a franchise fee, what is your option at EXP to do instead? The stock discount program. Buying the stock at a discount?
Oh, yeah. Putting our commission, we put up to 5% of your commissions towards the stock purchase at a 10% discount, and we put all our commission, every dollar we could put towards it, we have, and it's grown.
It's grown considerably. And, you know, I think I know that I battled with this concept. I always felt like I'm a great realtor, but as far as being a business person, what am I doing to be a better business person? You know, and so one of the goals I had set for myself before ever meeting you was I needed a different stream of income to take care of our retirement, so I can stop worrying about it. And this, remember the pleasant surprises I was telling you about? Well, you know, we started to do this 5%, you know, at a discounted rate, and I never thought it would. I certainly didn't think it would grow the way it's grown. And so what I've realized, especially recently, you know, after the split and after, you know, our stock has perked up and done some good things, is that is turning into, you know, our third stream of retirement income. And it's really no skin off our back. It's not like we're scraping and saving, trying to get there with it. It really is just kind of happening on its own. And so that's just this relief. You know, I don't feel like I have to worry about that you know, business part of it. I made a good business decision almost without even knowing it. You know, it was just because we did pretty easy.
Well, you guys did your research, and I think that's the most important thing. You know, I talk to a lot of real estate agents, and they say, well, I'm happy where I am. And I appreciate that, and you hit the nail on the head. Most of us, we want to avoid pain, but we don't want to do the things necessary to have greater pleasure in our life. You know, it's just kind of natural. Most of the agents that most people that go into real estate because they're in pain, right? So the fact that you guys took massive action even when you were happy, I think really speaks to the power of the math behind this model. Don't you guys agree?
Very much.
Yeah, I would just recommend to an agent who's even just been, you know, perked as far as their interest to do the math, to run the scenario, take the last 3 years of your performance and put it up against the system, and then, you know, account for the fact that you can put 5% of your gross commission into, you know, away into the stock and at a 10% discount. You know, think through things like that. Think about the fact that we actually do refer. You know, at EXP, you do get the referrals directly. You know, I just
after you kind of do that math the last 3 years before you join, you realize how much money you're leaving on the table, and it's you look at everything else in life. It's like, God, we're just rabbits on the wheel. You just keep running and running and running, and there's nonstop. You have to get the next deal. Whereas this took a lot of pressure off. It was, you know, we're performing at a higher level than we ever have, and it's
going to have our best year yet. That was the other worry, right? You worry, oh, I'm going to make a change and my numbers are going to dip.
Sure.
No, our best year yet. This year will be our best year yet by more than 25% increase, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you really just have to realize that fears are, you know, they shouldn't prevent you from taking action. But they could have with us, but they didn't. You know, our fears didn't. And you know, it's kind of funny because we did it right at the onset of COVID, right when shelter in place was happening. And we thought, oh, this will give us a little bit of downtime. And you know, by the way, we had one of our best years in a year where there were 4 months of no activity.
Crazy.
Right? The March, April, May, and June, there was nothing. And then the rest of the year was like, you know, so don't worry that your business will suffer. EXP has great educational opportunities. There's so much collaboration. I can reach out to an icon agent and say, hey, I've got this problem, or hey, I've got this challenge, you know, and there's just so much collaboration. There's no holding your cards close thinking, oh, you're a competitor of mine, I'm not going to give you information. It's, you know, the rising tide raises all ships type of, you know, environment.
You know, that's so true. I think that was one of my favorite things about EXP when I first joined, is that suddenly I didn't feel like everybody around me was afraid that I was trying to compete with them, you know. And as you mentioned, we have a vested interest in helping each other grow and prosper. And I don't know of any other real estate company that's like that, you know.
Structured like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, RE/MAX, I think at the end of the day, we're always kind of working with our heads down, helping our people. You know, the family buying their first home, the person coming to Steamboat for the first time and not realizing why they're standing in a real estate office, but loving it so much they wanted a part of it, right? And so we always kind of had our head down in that. But today we get to do that worry-free. But I think what that really says is we can be better agents because, you know, we truly do put our clients' needs first, because now we've got the support in the background that I think before just wasn't built into the beast. You know, it wasn't the nature of the beast. And with EXP, the way they've structured their business, we feel supported to the point that we just we can do what we've always done at a higher level for our clients without the worry that comes with it. You know, how am I going to put my kids through college? How am I going to be a burden on them? I really need to focus on retirement accounts. Like, these are all the same worries that any business person has. Right. But there's a lot of companies who that outside of our industry that have solved that for their people, and I think EXP stood up and solved that for our industry.
Wow. You know, oh my God. That was really eloquent. That's maybe the most eloquent I've ever heard that put, Michelle. You know.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, there were these dog whistles when you were telling me, and I was thinking, wow, that sounds like the utopia of like a real estate, firm. Like that sounds too good to be true. There must be something wrong.
Yeah, there's got to be. That's why we had to hold our breath for a year, waiting for the catch to catch up. It didn't exist. It was a really agent-driven company. Like, you become part owner too, so you're really vested in the success of EXP.
Boy, and that is 100% true. So tell everybody, I know that you guys, of course, do luxury. Tell me how the EXP model has helped you increase your sales in the luxury market. You said you're having your best year ever. You talked a little bit about the referrals. Tell me what else is contributing to that.
You know, I would say what's helped us have our best year is it does come down to the referrals. I went from about 35% of our to being about 60% of our business. Wow. So referrals are great. As a matter of fact, we work with a real estate coach, and my real estate coach was looking at my numbers, and he said, Michelle, I have to ask you, more than anyone else that I coach, you have agent referral, agent referral, agent referral, agent referral as your closed transactions. He said, why are you getting so many agent referrals? And I got to kind of say, you should consider coming over to EXP. I mean, it really jumped up our business as far as the numbers go. If you're just looking on paper at the numbers, the referrals definitely jumped up our business. But it's also the fact that we get to focus more on our business now, as opposed to, I think realtors don't realize when they get into the business, you have to wear like every hat of a company.
Right.
What do they say? Your chief chef and bottle washer. You know, you're the guy who is doing the accounting, you're filing your taxes, your marketing, your sales, your recruiting, you're the fixing the printer. You know, you're the guy doing everything. And I think just EXP takes a lot of that off your plate. And then they give you this whole forum and university of collaboration where, okay, I've got a problem. I don't have to go to someone I'm competing with to help me fix that problem. I get to go to someone of my caliber who's doing this, in this market, doing it in the Aspen market or the Vail market or the Denver market. I get to be able to tap them, and they're going to tell me, great information. Or I just get to learn about something I didn't know about before. You guys have a whole commercial, entity that's opened up, and you have created a way where I can get into commercial real estate very easily with the education that I need. I just think that it's all there. The resources are there. You created just a library of resources.
Yeah. And I just found out this past week at the event that we had that Tony Robbins spoke at that we're now launching business brokerage as well. So if you know people that are business brokers, they can join our company, and that's going to be a great source of referrals. And we love all of our commercial agents because for the most part, commercial agents won't touch residential. So where are they going to send all of those leads? Right back to EXP agents. So we
know that commercial agents like math. I can't imagine a commercial agent who would run your numbers and not join.
Yeah, I know. Because they don't love their broker. I've never had a commercial agent say, "Oh, but I love my broker." No, they love taking care of their clients and being able to golf on Fridays. You know, for them, it's all about the map. And I think what you've mentioned is very true. Our super analytical agents are agents that really understand numbers. These are very short conversations, you know, and it's agents like me and Michelle that are a little bit more touchy-feely and huggy, and you know, that maybe we have to be convinced sometimes that it'll be great if we make this transition. That when we take care of ourselves, we can take care of everybody else much better. Don't you guys agree?
Well, I mean, there's the old adage, put on your oxygen mask first. You know, when you're working with an agent who feels like inherently, they feel in their heart that they make good business decisions, that they understand their business, that they have the resources they need to do their job. These are the types of agents that are going to make decisions with you in mind.
Right.
They're not, you know, what was the old term, you know, commission rep. I don't think we treat our, you know, 112, this number is going away, but you know, we treat our $150,000 closings, those people that are behind those closings, the same as, you know, the $1 million closings. Everyone gets treated. You're buying real estate, and we know how important what you're doing is, and we kind of think it's a noble job. It's just that, you know, if we're taken care of, we just are free to take care of our people.
It really helps us go to the mindset of abundance and not scarcity. You know, before we're working hard to pay bills. We're working hard to pay all our bills, pay all the bills, and just that feeling of scarcity. And we always knew from training classes and everything else that you should operate from a feeling of abundance. But EXP made us feel more comfortable. We're keeping more of the commission, so it wasn't that, oh, you got to get out and get the next one in a hurry. It's really helped us, you know, years before when we hired assistants and trying to even out the fluctuations of our business and make it even. This is just taking it to another level where it just really helps it operate like a business and not that, oh, get a lot of contracts. Okay, get through the contracts. Oh, now I got to find more contracts. You know, we're not doing that anymore. We're just moving along.
Just responding to people's needs now. You know, it's like we have more foresight. We're more engaged, I think, at this level.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's funny to me because I feel like, you know, I'm in real estate, so I get and understand real estate. But when I hear business people talk that are in other industries, I feel like we finally achieved what the zen is among other business owners, where they're just, everyone's kind of trying to do the same thing. We want to get ourselves to a good place where we can do our job and shine in what we do. And, you know, as far as real estate industry and the brokerage firms that I've worked with and have to choose from, I feel like EXP is our forever home. Like we made it.
Oh my God.
We're in a place where we can do what we do.
It's funny because getting calls from ISAs who are trying to recruit us to other brokerages now, I actually stop and go, I'm not interested, but you should tell the agent you're working for to consider EXP. It's the best move we ever made. It's funny that I flip it on them and they try to get off the phone quickly.
Yeah, no kidding. Now you two, how long have you two been married?
What, 13 years?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
13. Oh, September 5th.
We'll be 13.
Yeah, we'll be 13 years. Thanks for reminding me. That's coming up.
and Super Dave and I get married on September 4th, so we'll always be able to remember each other's anniversaries. So that's perfect.
I'll send you a text.
Okay, I'll look forward to that. So tell me, what is it like working with your significant other the way that you guys do?
I would say it was hard at first.
We definitely went through some trials. You know, it's because one thing you don't punch out. I mean, realtors are notorious for working 24/7 anyway, and then when it's your spouse, we had to make the rule. The kids made us have the rule of don't talk business at the dinner table because we'll just devolve into a transaction if we allowed it. And so it was a bit all-consuming.
Plays get at boundaries. I am not good at boundaries. I have to take the cues from my family as to when to turn off the work switch for, at least an hour so that we can catch up with one another. But that's, I think, the hard part is that I feel like if I had a different partner, we would separate at a certain point in the day and maybe not delve so much into all the details of it. But when you're 24/7, I feel like you can get lost in, all the time every day. There's a big passion for it too. It's not like it's drudgery talking about work 24/7. We love what we do. But I mean, yeah, our kids are kind of like, can we talk about a camping trip instead?
But then they've also gotten enlisted in the work too. Our kids are stamping postcards and putting labels on it.
We have an amazing accountant who has recommended to us that we bring our kids into the company, and we did, and it's great for them.
That's
so they can make money. That's their chores, is working for the company. We have twin daughters, and they're very different. One of them's very fashion oriented, so she loves going with the assistant to stage a house. We're getting ready for the photo shoot. Where's the blanket going to go? We got to put the flowers here. She just
that's awesome.
Loves it. She's 10. Great.
The other one writes our marketing. She's like, "Are you looking for a great realtor?"
That was cute on vacation, and she's writing coffee for ads.
Oh my gosh! Listen, you can hire those ladies out. They're going to have job opportunities by the time this thing airs.
So it's become really the true family business. As a late teenager and early 20s before I moved to Steamboat, my mom was selling, and I was filling out, writing postcards for her and handwriting envelopes so people would open them and helping her succeed. And
no, she's in her 80s, and she's our neighbor. And I said to Mom, consultant, I said to Mom recently, hey, why don't you sit some open houses for me? And she did say no.
She's considering.
So it's a family thing, for sure.
That's absolutely brilliant. I love it.
This ultimate salesperson, they didn't say no. They're thinking about this. It wasn't even serious, but okay, let's do this.
Well, when I owned my Century 21 franchise, my receptionist eloped, right? And I didn't have anybody to answer the phones. So I called my mom and I said, Mom, will you just come and answer the phones for the day or a couple of days? And she said, well, yeah, is it okay if I bring your dad so he's not home alone? Yeah. Well, and then for the next decade, they worked with me. Yeah. And
a couple of days turned into a decade.
Yeah, a decade, right? And it changed everything in my relationship with my parents, because all of a sudden we connected at such a completely different level, as adults and as business partners, and because they were right there at the end of the business day. Hey, let's go get let's go get a bite to eat. They would bring in lunch and we would have lunch. So it was a different level of intimacy that started as a result of that receptionist eloping. So I'm very grateful that she did that, because there's something that we don't understand about the use of the mastermind, right? As Think and Grow Rich talks about. But when those people in your mastermind are also part of your family, the whole energy changes, and it just ushers in a different level of love and connection. Don't you guys agree?
Yeah, and it just kind of, if you actually love it. And I realized, I think I realized at some point every year, like when you have like a low, and then it's followed by your next high. Like what you do is you start to get introspective and start to think about what you do for a living as a realtor. And I realized over and over again, I just love it. Right? I love what we do, but I think it also inspires your passion. Like, when you're talking about, the family that's trying to relocate here and get their child into school by a certain time, and you're like literally trying to get them across that, that base for the home run, and you're just like, when it happens, and the joy you feel for them, and the relief that they feel, it's just, I don't know. And then the two of us get to bring that home and share that with our kids, and it's cool. There's just something really rewarding about it. It's a great industry to be in. By the way, I've lived through we lived through 2008. So it's a great industry to be in during the highs, not the lows. I don't want to say that. But the lows really make you realize that if you're going to stick with it, you love it. Right? So.
Right. Well, and what you said is so eloquent. If the past 2 years have taught us anything, it's that it is really important to be happy where you lay your head at night. You know, in 2018, I was traveling 303 days. In 2018, literally, I was away from home 303 days. And then 2019 was traveling. I traveled more than half a day, so about 194 days. And then in 2020, Super Dave, of course, just like you, we're doing the Platinum Partnership with Tony Robbins. And we had on the schedule more than 180 days of travel. And then the world changed. Dave and I had David had owned this home for a little while, not very long, and I had just, of course, moved in, but we were also living in Florida. And so the opportunity because our home was so beautiful, to really make it our home, and how that changed our relationship. And I think we understand now more than ever the power and the importance of being in the right home, the home that meets our family's needs, that brings us peace and joy and happiness, where we're surrounded by people that we care about. So I think the nobility of our profession has really been seen in a much more powerful way over the past couple of years, right?
Yeah,
very much so. I mean, from everything that's changing in our world as far as multi-generational families living together, buying properties together, and doing all things that are a lot different. People's agenda coming to Steamboat to want to buy property has changed. They're doing it for different reasons. And it's a lot of times, I mean, God, it sounds hokey, but it's a beautiful thing to be part of when you're helping people bring their families together more.
Right.
To illustrate like how people think of their homes, which is what they're going through us to purchases. I think I heard it said one time, the only possession people have that if it were on fire they would run towards it as opposed to away from it is their home. It illustrates for you just what a home is to people. It's everything. Sometimes it's even a sense of identity, but it's definitely a huge part of people's lives that we're involved with, and we take that very seriously.
And how they define themselves by the places they live and what they get from it.
Yeah, and that is true. It's also the only investment that most of us have that has the potential to bring us joy every single solitary day. You know, it's a tangible thing, and we all know home prices go up and go down. But if we're coming home to a place that we love, even if our values drop, you know, it's very different than when our stock portfolios drop. Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what you attribute your success to. I know that you spend a lot of time, money, and energy on personal growth, personal development. If you were talking to your 20-year-old self, what advice would you give them? What would you say to them to help them maybe miss some of the pitfalls that most people hit?
I would say it's creating the goals and staying focused on them. You know, not worrying about the noise that's in everyday life, and still just maintaining this is where I want to be. That's how I ended up with Michelle. I had the idea of the wife I wanted, and she appeared. One of those kind of where you hit a point in your life, it's like, I'm not dating, I'm not really looking, and then there she was. It was magical. But you get what you focus on. So, if you focus on your goals in business, you'll get them. If you're too hyper-focused, you need to have goals in your family, too. My goal is to spend so much time with them, or this type of thing. And if you can have balanced goals and you can stay focused on them and not get lost in the noise, you'll get there.
That's beautiful, Clay.
What he said, right? I think for me it was resilience. Again, having lived through the 2008 turndown and then grew all through that time that it went up. You have your good times, you have your bad times. And by the way, again, I feel like what I'm saying really permeates other industries. Like what people, if they were to look back on their careers and think what they did, right? I think it's resilience. Just keep your head in the game.
Perseverance.
Yeah.
Just
keep going.
Yeah.
You know, there's with real estate, it's like a roller coaster ride. And sometimes I think 90% of what we do is helping other people process their emotions through a very emotional transition. Selling a home, buying a home, moving, getting your kids into the right school, getting closer to a hospital, whatever it is, it's emotional. And, they'll call you and they're wrapped up in their stress, and your job is to manage that. And then do all the paperwork, and then do all that, and then make sure you're negotiating, and then make sure you're still looking for the right property for them and whatnot. But it's a large part of it is helping them through that time. I can't tell you how many different types of tiers we deal with in our industry. From closing on that first time home to I'm so stressed out right now, I don't know what to do, to my company's not letting me make the move I thought I was going to be able to make, to just all of that, and being there through all of that for people. So yeah, it's a people industry.
It really is, and I think that what you guys have said is so incredibly profound. You've really got to make sure that that your energy is right, because you're dealing with so many other people's energies too. And quite often a realtor on the other side of the transaction is not in the kind of peaceful state that you guys are. They do have commission breath. I mean, most real estate agents really struggle. So it's not only your clients' emotions, but sometimes the other realtors' emotions too.
I will say this. In Steamboat Springs, there's really only about, what do they say, the 80-20 rule. So there's only just around 300 agents. So if you think about it, that would imply that there's about 60 agents doing business. But we play nice in the sandbox here, because in truth, I think that's what Steamboat's all about. Right? Just being kind to each other and happy in general. But you will bump into the agent on the other side of your deal 3 times next week, either in the grocery store, on the sidelines of a soccer game, or just downtown in general. And so we behave like that. We treat each other like that. It's kind of cool. It's a great place to live and work.
Wow.
So it's a great place to grow. Raise your kids. It's a great place to be out in the environment. It's just awesome.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. You guys are truly blessed, and your clients are very blessed to be working with you as well. So
thank you.
Yeah. Well, anything else you guys want to add?
It's a beautiful day. You get outside and it's no, I think that sums it up.
So tell people how they can get hold of you. Tell them what is your link, and we'll make sure that gets posted as well. Tell everybody how they can send you referrals, and how they can send you business, and how they can come by a beautiful home in Steamboat Springs.
That's what's funny about being a realtor. You Google our names and you'll find us very quickly. Our website is View Homes in Steamboat Springs. What else? Realtors are very easy to find. I mean, if you probably Googled EXP Steamboat, we will come up very high on that search. So
it's growing. EXP growing in Steamboat. There's more agents. I would say every quarter we're surprised to see that there's more Steamboat EXPers. So, but yeah, viewhomesinsteamboatsprings.com. Well, it's a very robust website. You can search property on that website. It's tied right into our mobile listing system. So.
Beautiful. Well, Realtors get free with EXP. I'm sorry, go ahead, Clay. What were you going to say?
And if they're ever just coming to visit, it doesn't even have to be about business. I mean, we live in such a beautiful resort. Sometimes it's nice to ski with a local, and love to meet people up on the mountain.
We've got clients where Clay's, they want Clay to show them where the locals mountain bike. The next time they come to town.
Where do you go?
It's common to have that conversation. Where do the locals ski? Where do the locals mountain bike?
So you guys are a great resource even for people that are vacationing, but I have a feeling a lot of your homeowners came there on vacation, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean that's the common thing. Mm-hmm. I came just after college and was going to be here for a season, maybe 2, and you hear it over and over. You just stay forever. The winters bring you out here, and the summers keep you.
Wow.
I was always with builders, but when we were first in our first office, Clay and I were working together, and there was a guy who walked in the front door and he said, "I've never been to Steamboat before, and I have no idea why I'm standing in a real estate office. But could you tell me what's going on? Could you show me some property?" And so it's really, people get here and they want to stay. There's just something about our town. Besides being ridiculously beautiful, it's just an energy and a vibe.
Oh. Well, if this real estate thing doesn't work, you guys can go work for the Chamber of Commerce.
Very much so. I've always enjoyed talking about steamboats.
Yes.
Just been home for 30 years. So.
Wow. Well, your clients are very, very blessed to have you. EXP is blessed beyond measure to have you as icon agents, the absolute best and brightest in the industry. And I am blessed beyond measure to have you guys as friends. So much love and happy early anniversary.
Thank you very much.
Take care, Tracy.
Bye-bye.